screen, y'all. Go ahead and tap that screen. Support the live, like it, share it. I'm about to start the live everywhere else. All right, cool. All right, I went ahead and start the live everywhere else. Kajo Pin, I'm an atheist. Give me a second. I just want to go ahead and make sure that the live starts over on Instagram as well, because I'm going to be going live on there today. All right, cool. So I'm live everywhere. All right, y'all. So I'm live on the YouTubes. I'm live on the TikTok. Well, of course, I'm not live on TikTok, but TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook and Instagram. So I'm live everywhere now. And I do appreciate you all being here. All right. So, Travis, what I do on my lives, I don't like to talk to the comments. So if you disagree with something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up and we can go ahead and talk about that. Not that I don't appreciate you being here and trying to interact, but I'd rather have the conversation with you instead of you just being in the comments. I'm going to open up the phone lines in just a bit. So for anyone who disagrees with what I have on the board, you can go ahead and come on up, or you can call the call-in number. I'm about to open up the call lines. All right, so Travis, once again, I'm inviting you up. So go ahead and just come on up instead of talking in the comments, please. Because I like to do that instead, because instead of me just responding to you like over and over again, it'll be more productive if we just actually talk. So I'll keep inviting you up. You know what I mean? If you just keep denying the request, I'm just going to mute you for the live because you're not interested in actually having a conversation. You just want to preach. All right, Aunt Cat. How about you, Aunt Cat? Go ahead and come on up and let's talk about it. Here's the thing, y'all. I can actually have this discussion. That's fine. I can actually have the discussion, but I don't like talking to comments. I just want y'all to come up and actually speak with me instead. How's it going on, Kat?
It's going well, but there's going to be absolutely no progression in a conversation with someone with your mindset.
Why not?
Because you're very stuck in the woke mindset.
What does that mean?
You're easily programmed. And you believe what the media has told you, what the government has told you, you believe it.
No, I don't.
So it's kind of hard to have a conversation with someone that isn't on the same mental level.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Aunt. Yeah. Before you came to this live, did you know that I existed?
No.
So how can you make such a judgment about me?
Because I'm reading your prompt, and your prompt is telling me all I need to know.
Right, but my prompt doesn't tell you anything. It only tells you what I believe, right, or what I disbelieve. It doesn't tell me what my mindset actually is. Like, there's a reason why I say being woke is good, but if you think being woke is bad, that means you have a different definition than me.
Correct. I believe being woke is being programmed.
Hold on. So we can actually talk about what those things mean. But if you just simply assume that I'm nefarious or I have bad intent, we're not going to get anywhere. You're actually showing them that you're programmed, not me, because you judge me.
You know what? You are 100% right. I came in with a preconceived notion because of this app and other lives with this type of topic.
Sure. Give me a second.
Sure.
Did I hang up on him? Crap, I hang up on him. Hey, the person who just called me, call back. I didn't mean to hang up on you. My bad. I didn't mean to hang up on you, the person who just called. Go ahead and call me back. All right. So, yeah. So, let's go ahead and parse this out. All right. So, when I say being woke is good, I use the original version of woke, the one that came from the African American community that talks about being aware of racial and social injustice. We use that, or African Americans made that up because during that time there was racial and social injustice, and we know about that. And not only that, it came from a time where if Black people fell asleep during like war times, we can be killed by white soldiers. So we came up with the term stay woke in order to be awake and be aware of what's going on. Give me 1 second.
Yep, I'll mute.
Call from
B.A.A.S.H.
Hey, Haas, how's it going? Hold on for me for just a second. Let me talk to the person on my live, and I'll be right back with you. You're gonna hear hold music, okay?
We'll do.
Give me 1 second. All right. So yeah, so that's what being woke means to me. That's why I said it's a good thing. Now, I understand that for some reason conservatives came up with a whole new thing for it, but that's never what it meant. So I'm not sure where that came from or why I believe that is.
It came from actually Kamala Harris sitting on a stage and kept saying, "You guys just have to stay woke. I don't care who's the wokest, but you guys got to stay woke." And that was a problem for me.
Right. Why though? Because Kamala was using the original version of woke. So why
I don't think she was, because she never identified as African American until she ran for vice president. She was always South Indian.
No, she was black when she ran for president.
She never claimed black. She always leaned towards her Indian ancestry.
No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. She went to an HBCU and she joined one of the most historical black sororities. And not only that,
terrifying, by the way. Do you know anything about Greeks? Do you know about Greek society?
Right, the Greek society. It's just other stuff. But what I'm talking about is, let me just finish what I'm talking about. When it comes to Kamala Harris and identifying with her blackness, not only did her parents take her to civil rights movements, but her
parents
her father,
or her mother, because her father wasn't in the picture, right, according to her.
Hold on. Right. So her mother took her to civil rights movement. She knew the original Black Panthers. She went to an HBCU. She joined a historical black sorority. And when she know the original Black Panther? She was too young. When she was in California and became AG, she called herself the first Black AG of California. So she always identified with that.
Because she used you guys.
I'm not in California
for a vote. No. She used the Black community for a vote.
Yeah,
this is what Democrats have always done.
Yeah, just like how Republicans use Christians for the vote and not.
But they don't use Black people.
Right. What I'm saying is that politicians always use a key part of their demographic in order.
Are there no Black Christians?
That's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
No, I'm asking a question.
There are Black Christians. Hold on. Listen. There are Black Christians. There are Black Christians. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to identity politics, every party uses it, including the Republicans. Because Christian is an identity as well, and Republicans always use being Christian as a way to get voted in
by biblical law. Correct.
Right, but the Bible doesn't ruin our society. That's what I'm saying. We're a right.
Correct. So the Bible actually amplifies society.
So what I'm trying to say is that yes, I understand you saying that Kamala used Black as to get more votes in order to become AG, but that turns to get your points in two ways. Number one, she did identify as Black before running for president, and number two, every president uses that. Every politician uses some sort of identity in order to get voted in. It's not just Kamala or the Democrats.
Well, to me, let's just bring it back to the original topic about where the woke thing came from. That's why I brought up Kamala.
Right.
So Kamala, sorry, I apologize because people get all offended. But my point is, this is where I come from, a different spot. Like, I was born and raised in the Bronx in the 70s and the 80s. Mm-hmm. So it's when I see comments about systemic racism, that's got to be in areas that I just didn't see, because everybody was equal in the city back in that time. So like that's a problem for me. And with the reparations, why aren't you guys going after the Somalis for that?
Okay.
They stole $1.9 billion in taxes, and they got your reparations as Black people that came over here and just claimed to be doing jobs that they're not doing.
Okay. Well, two things. If you grew up in the Bronx, then you know exactly what systematic racism is, because like the way that the Bronx is right now, the way that the South Bronx became right now is literally because of systemic racism. Because of segregation, urban blight, not investing into those communities. All that happened because those communities were largely Black and brown. They were Black and Puerto Rican. So
but then how come the Irish?
Let me finish. The reason why it didn't happen to the Irish, because the Irish are folded into whiteness.
We weren't.
Hold on.
Absolutely not. We weren't. Try again.
Have you ever read the book How the Irish Became?
Try again with that.
Have you ever read the book How the Irish Became White? Have you ever read that book?
No, but
Okay,
the Irish were never considered white. We were considered savages.
I know. You need
Savages.
to slow down. You need to slow down. Let me finish what I'm saying. I know in the beginning, when the Irish came to America, you were not considered white. They became white afterwards, after many Irish started to take on there's a shake in my butte. The Irish started to become white, started to become considered white after they took on the racist assumptions of the white people who were in America at that time. That's how the Irish became white is about. Matter of fact, I can show you a picture. You ever heard of the comic The White Man's Government? The White Man's Government is a comic that came out in the early I think the 1890s or the early 1901, 1902, where it's two white American men and an Irishman stomping on a black man and says, "This is the white man's government." That's how the Irish became white. You're now considered white after that. Right. So what I'm saying is
one white guy was
right. Hold on. Wait,
English
listen.
guys and got
no. That's
dude. You got to let me ask a question for clarity.
I know you're.
Calm down.
I know what you're trying to. I know what you're trying to ask me.
No, you don't. So you're a psychic.
No. Because you just said the Irish became white because one white guy wrote a comic. That's not what I'm saying.
No, that's not what I was going to ask. See, that's where you made an assumption and you're wrong.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
So even though the comic wrote it, so because one white guy supposedly was involved in a fight that one black guy got beat up, that's how all Irish people became white?
No, that's not what I said.
It doesn't make sense. I don't care what a comic says.
But that's not what I said. That's not what I said. The reason why I'm not waiting is because you didn't understand what I said.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Well, I'm sorry. What's your name again? Okay, Aunt. Listen, that's not what I said. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I said. Your entire question right there is not what I said.
So tell me how Irish people that from the comic that Irish people instantly became white through one comic statement.
Aunt. Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm angry because I can't get a clear answer.
Don't pay attention to the comments. Talk to me. Listen to what I'm saying. I was using that comic as an example of what was going on at the time, of how Irish people were folded into whiteness. That comic.
But you understand how dismissive that is to my culture?
Hold on.
It's dismissive.
I understand it's dismissive. I agree with you on that. You're not white. You're Irish. Whiteness is not a thing. I agree with that. But listen to what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying is that how the Irish became white, that comic is an example of what I'm trying to use to explain to you what was going on at the time on how the Irish became white. Because once they became folded into the systemic belief that they're over black people, that's when you start to be considered white. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the comic made it happen.
We still don't feel that way though. Irish people are still not that way. That's the thing.
Call from
Robbie.
Hey Robbie, hold on for me for a second. I'm gonna put you on hold music. I'm gonna talk to you right in a moment. All right, stay on hold.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Yes. I don't know because you're from the Bronx, but I've visited many Irish neighborhoods in the East Coast. Yeah, they're some of the most racist people I've ever met. Yeah. The Irish Americans are definitely have negative racial opinions about black people. Definitely.
And I can tell you why. At this time, this all came from social media, where wait.
No, the fuck it didn't.
Listen, Irish people weren't racist until black people got on the friggin' internet and said all white people owe you something, which is a joke to me.
Hey, Aunt.
Dude, let me finish the sentence instead of going, hey, Aunt. Yeah, do you want to talk?
Yeah. Yeah, we could talk, but let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the giraffe riots of 1863?
No. What the fuck is that?
Exactly. That's why you don't know. The giraffe riots of 1863 is when the Irish of New York got angry at black people for the Civil War, and they started to kill black children.
Dude, we fought to free
Hey, what
are you talking about?
Aunt, I just asked you if you know about this riot where the Irish community were literally killing black people in New York, and you didn't know about it. So the Irish have always said, I know you weren't there. That's not my point. My point is that the Irish, that's not my, listen to my point. You need to be quiet and listen to my point. Because you said the Irish weren't racist until the internet. They were the Irish community always had racial problems. Stop talking. The Irish community, stop talking. It was racist because they called black people the N-word, and they specifically targeted black people during those draft riots, and this happened in the 1860s.
So what did the black people do to anger the Irish?
Nothing. This was the again,
yes.
aunts. This was the
Yes.
draft riots. The draft riots were them being upset at the draft for the Civil War, so they attacked black people for it. You just say you don't even know about it.
Was it just
yes,
the Irish?
it was
the Italian,
it was the Irish,
Polish,
it was the Irish, and it was the Italians.
Italian, the Polish.
Yes, white people. 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 White people. White people.
Can I respond?
No, you can't, because I'm not gonna let you.
Then have a good day.
All right, because I'm not gonna let you keep spilling your ignorance, because you have no idea what you're talking about, aunt. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's the problem. All right. Give me a second. Let's see. Deadlights. Give me 1 second. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Kate, how's it going, Kate? I knew you came up to talk to her, but she already left. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Give me a second as well. All right, Kate. How's it going? I'm all right.
Go ahead.
Give me 1 second as well. All right. 502. How's it going? 502. You're not. I'm sorry. 520. What's your name again?
Raphael.
How you going, how's it going, Raphael? Now, you're not going to be able to hear my TikTok comments, but they're going to be able to hear you. So if you hear me get quiet for a second, that's because I'm listening to a question that they have. All right.
Okay.
All right.
What's your name?
I have Kate up here and Deadlights. Actually, give me a second, Raphael. Deadlights, are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Here, go to the next guest real quick.
All right, cool, gotcha. All right, Raphael, how's it going, Raphael? Are you at least 18, and what did you disagree with?
Yes, I am. And
I don't think there's any good evidence for God, and I think faith is unreliable for finding what the truth is, because faith is essentially a coin flipped. Ooh, okay, I'm good. Faith is essentially a coin flipped, and excuse me, I don't think there's any good evidence for a God, because I don't take really, philosophical mumbo jumbo as evidence. You can't really define God into existence, in my opinion. But what evidence will you say exists?
okay, so my evidence would basically go at it from the point that the contrary would be impossible. So I would say that logic, truth, ethics, and morality are objective, and the atheist worldview cannot. I'm sorry, the atheist worldview cannot give objective definitions of those things, and so therefore it's false.
You can give objective definitions. Is because we make up words, we make up definitions. So you can give definitions.
Well, no, that would be subjective.
Right, but like no. Right, it would be subjective, because like words, we make up words. We make up what they mean, and you understand that words, like,
right,
they could become different through time.
I know we make up words, but we don't make up logic.
No, we when you say we don't make up logic, how you defining logic? You mean like the laws of logic?
Yeah. So like
we didn't make
logic,
that.
Those are
exactly
objective and can't be changed.
Right. We didn't make those up, right? But those are simply descriptions of what we see in the universe. They didn't come from anywhere else. We're just describing what we see.
Right, but they're objective laws.
When you say they're objective laws, like what do you mean by that? We're just describing what we see.
So like logic would exist whether you or I existed. It's mind independent, so it's objective.
It would exist whether you or I existed?
Yeah.
Shit, what the hell happened? Give me a second, all right? Give me a second. Why did that happen? Give me a second. What the hell happened, bro?
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 moment, y'all. Yeah, so these things were on what exists. No matter if you or I existed, right? I agree with that. But the only thing that I'm saying is that they're objective, but they're descriptive. They're what we see in the universe. They would exist whether or not whether we existed or not. But I don't see how that leads to a God. It's just something. It's just existence.
Right. So my claim would be those things actually come from a transcendental mind. They would have to, because the universe wouldn't be able to make up those laws from the beginning.
But
and atheism fails utterly at any objective grounding for these.
But the thing is that
like truth.
But there's two problems. You're simply claiming this is the case and not showing how that is. And number two,
actually, I could show.
But the thing is, like, when you said the universe couldn't make them up, the universe is not making up anything. This is just how physics is. It's not really. You're assuming that. What I'm saying is that you're assuming that the laws of logic or physics is a deliberate thing. You have no reason to assume that it's deliberate.
Yes, because they don't change. And so just saying like this is because it is this way, that would be a fallacious argument.
It's not really a fallacious.
So I could show it. So I would basically posit a syllogism that would say either A or B, A being atheism or B being God. If my worldview is correct, the laws of logic are objective, truth is subjective, morality is subjective. If your worldview is correct, none of those things are objective.
They're not. Well, no, actually, no. Like when it comes to the laws of logic are objective because they're based literally on physics, essentially, and that's objective. None of us can change what physics is. But what I'm saying is that just because we can't change it doesn't mean that it's something supernatural.
No, so they would exist metaphysically. That's the point.
How do you show that to be true?
Because the universe is always changing. There would be no reason to think that the laws of logic wouldn't change. Everything is, if your worldview is correct, everything is just particles in motion, forever changing with the entropy depth of the universe in the end.
That wouldn't.
But these laws of logic exist metaphysically.
But you can't show that to be.
So what I'm saying is atheists cannot give an account for that.
What I'm saying is that you can't show that to be true that it fixed metaphysically, because things don't contradict each other. Like the law of identity doesn't change whether it's physical or not, right? Like it's always going to be like the laws of logic we see are based on all things that we see physically. They're not based on anything that we see metaphysically. We can't. What does even seeing things metaphysically would even mean at that point? Like these are all things that we see physically.
Actually, metaphysically, because they are unchanging.
Just because they're unchanging doesn't mean they have to exist metaphysically.
Yeah, they would actually have to exist outside of like this reality, because otherwise they would be subject to change, just like everything else.
What do you mean to be subject to change, like everything else? What does that mean?
Everything in the universe is subject to change.
Yeah.
In fact, even like
there are different
laws like gravity has changed over the time of the universe.
Yeah. Gravity changes depending on where you are.
Space-time fabric has changed over the course of the universe.
Yeah.
If we accept your worldview.
Right. Space-time. Gravity and stuff like that. It changes depending on where you are. Correct. But like existence and non-existence is not going to change. We've never seen anything exist and not exist at the same time.
Well, that would contradict logic.
Right, exactly. But just because those things, what I'm saying is that just because those things don't change doesn't mean that it's not grounded in something physical. Gravity can change.
Have to be metaphysical.
Right, gravity can change. Right, we know that gravity can change because we don't really understand what gravity is. But the electromagnetic fields don't change at all. The strong force and the weak force, they don't change.
And right, but those are effects of matter.
Right, but they don't change.
But Volcy,
hold on, Raphael. Hold on. Raphael, hold on. What you say, Kate?
Volcy, everything that he's talking about is physical. Everything that he's talking about is measurable. We're able to measure everything he's talking about. Where does the metaphysical part be brought in? Because it seems like he's just presupposing the metaphysical approach to all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the question that Kate brought up is that everything that you're saying could be measured, right? And you're simply presupposing something metaphysical. Where does it come in? Because everything that we're talking about is measurable.
Do you think you can measure logic?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we
does
can measure.
logic exist?
I'm not saying that we can measure logic. I'm talking about when it comes
can I
to
travel to logic?
Raphael. You need to actually listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say that we can measure logic. What I said is that everything that you're mentioning and talking about is measurable.
That's a nonsensical statement.
Okay, how is it a nonsensical statement? Because
it makes no sense. Explain it.
Okay.
How's everything I'm saying? Because I'm talking about logic, right?
Right.
So if you're not talking about logic when you're talking about
what I'm saying is that the laws of logic. What I'm saying is that the laws of logic are based on things that are physical. Everything that we see, how the universe works.
No.
Yes.
No, the physical is based off of logic. So if that were true,
logic is based off the physical.
How logic came out of matter.
I didn't say. Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying, bro. The laws of logic are descriptive. They're not prescriptive. You understand that, right?
No, they're actually prescriptive.
No, they're descriptive. They describe what we see.
No.
No.
If they were descriptive, they would be able to change.
That's not true. That is not true. Just because we're describing we're describing what we see out in the universe doesn't mean that they're subject to change. As a matter of fact, that's actually true. They are subject to change. It's that we've never seen it change.
No, that wouldn't follow. That would be a fallacy, because if I were like observing something, I would have no reason to think it would never change.
Right. The reason why we have no reason to think they would ever change is because again, we've never seen something exist and not exist at the same time. That sounds impossible.
Well, that's not science. That's a fallacy.
That's not a fallacy. You used to agree with me before.
It doesn't mean it wouldn't happen.
Right. Exactly. And we've never seen it happen, and we have no reason to think that it would. So that's why we assume that they're not going to change.
It's just a brute force assumption you're making as an atheist, because
we have to make that assumption, bro, because we've never seen it, never seen anything else.
This is why your worldview then falls apart.
It does it. It
totally does, because you just have to like accept these things without giving them justification.
Yeah, just like how you have to interact with the world with your senses, and you can't interact with it any other way.
That's what he's doing. He's taking his hypotheticals as if they're
could be wrong.
Factual truth.
So give me a second, Kate. Yeah, but Raphael, again, you have to interact with the world with your senses. So you have no other choice.
Right, but you have no reason to trust your senses.
Right, so that's why we just don't go off our own senses. We go off of like
you just told me the only way to go off of things.
No, I said the only thing to interact with the world is your senses. That's what I said.
Yeah, but your senses could be wrong. So everything that you
I know the senses can be. I know the senses can be wrong. That's why we have to go off other empirical data, right?
But all of empiricism would then could be wrong.
No, all empiricism.
Right?
No,
because empiricism is based off observation.
It's based off observation, right? But it's not only based off
it's not based
off a singular observation. It's based off multiple observations. If you break your leg every time, if you break your leg every single time you fall off a 20-story building, and everyone who falls off a 20-story building breaks their legs, I think it's pretty empirical that if you fall off a 20-story building, you're gonna break your legs most likely.
No, that's a bad analogy. Let me give you a good one. If you had a faulty scale, would it matter how many times you measure the weight of something?
No, because it's faulty.
You're still going to get the wrong answer every time, right?
Because it's faulty, exactly. But you just
that's my point. You have not proven that your
But you already loaded the problem. You said it's a faulty scale.
Right.
But so you're saying you've already hold on. Listen,
we can measure them, but you could be wrong about your measurement.
All right, so I can be wrong about my measurement, but not every single person is going to be wrong about the measurement. Sure, some people are going to get a different measurement. If that person gets a different measurement, we have to see what they did to get that different measurement, and we redo the. Hold on, wait, let me finish.
No.
Let me finish. That's not under my worldview. You're wrong. If 100 people do a measurement, and then the 101st person gets a different measurement under the scientific process, we now all have to do what that 101st person did to see if we get the same result. And guess what? If we all do get the same result doing the same thing he did, that means all 100 of us were wrong and he will right. And we keep on building on that knowledge. That's how that works.
No, so what could actually be happening is that all of the human senses are wrong.
How
And
would
in fact,
how would you know that?
atheism talks about this because the theory of evolution, they actually came out with many papers about this. It's saying evolution adapts not for truth, but for survivability.
Absolutely wrong.
So
wrong.
random adaptations, no, literally the scientists that believe in evolution are claiming this.
But truth is a
You can
philosophical
Google
term.
it.
It's
Google
not
it right now.
truth is a philosophical term. They're not in they're not
No,
doing
truth
philosophy.
is
They're
an
doing
objective
biology.
term. Do you
Hold
believe
on,
that
hold
truth is
on, hold on,
objective or
hold on.
subjective?
Let me finish what I'm saying. When we're talking about evolving, we're talking about biology. We're not talking about philosophy. Truth is a philosophical thing. So why would they say that we don't evolve for truth? We evolve for that makes no sense. Why would they even say that? When it comes to evolution, we
they're
like
saying that
literally know what happens.
That evolution drives for survivability, not to like see truth.
Right, for survivability, correct.
Boom.
Yeah, so that doesn't get you to truth.
He's presupposing. He is presupposing.
Hold on, Raphael. Hold on, Raphael. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead, King.
I just want to tell you, this entire argument with this gentleman, he is presupposing his hypotheticals metaphysically are true. There's nothing that he can ground this argument in actuality and factuality, because he's just presupposing that his hypotheticals have the possibility of being true.
Yeah. So Kate brought up a good point. You're basically presupposing your hypotheticals are true, and when it comes to evolution, yeah, you're evolving to survive. That has nothing to do with what truth is, because again, truth is a matter of philosophy, and evolution is a matter of biological survival. That's what it's.
No,
that's what
I'm telling you. I brought up the evolution thing to show why all humans cannot be trusting their senses, because the very scientists that study evolution are saying this.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Then. Let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Then, how do you interact with your God without using your senses?
You can actually just like feel it.
That's a sense.
Yeah.
So if senses,
wait.
You just said that no senses can be trusted, so you can't trust that either. You see how you're in my same position?
Listen to me. I'm telling you that in your worldview, you cannot trust your senses. If God is real, you can absolutely trust your senses.
No,
because you have a grounding, right?
No, and
God is making logic and all those things possible.
In my worldview,
and your senses are
in my worldview.
In your worldview, you cannot.
In my worldview, you cannot trust a singular sense. You have to go off more empirical data.
No, you actually can't trust anything, even if you add them all up.
Wrong. That's not what my worldview says.
That's absolutely true.
No, it's not. So you're just wrong, man.
Yes,
All right, so Raphael, we're out of time. We're out of time.
Okay, so you're losing, bro.
No. You're losing. I put 20 minutes on. I put 20 minutes on the clock, and you passed 20 minutes. I put 20 minutes on. All right. If you're just gonna troll, then I'm gonna be done with you. I literally put a timer on the clock. Everyone saw the timer on the clock, right? I put a timer on the clock, and he was 5 minutes past it already. So at that point, we're done. All right, what's going on? Okay, we're gonna move on to Deadlights. Deadlights, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, dude? To answer your question, I was 18, and then what was the other question?
Did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Yeah, it says black people should get reparations. Why think that?
Because African Americans should get reparations because of the government did harm to them, harm to that community, and if what the government broke, they should fix. And I don't see a reason why they shouldn't fix it. It won't only be for slavery. It'll also be for things like Jim Crow, things like redlining, mass lynchings, the war on drugs. All these things were targeted towards the African American community and damaged them. So the government should be responsible for fixing that damage.
Yeah. Do you think that's fair if it comes out of our pockets?
Yes.
Okay. What's the argument that it should come out of our pocket? What's the argument that?
Because we gave the Japanese reparations, so why won't we give it to black people?
Well, I don't see what argument, right?
We gave the Japanese reparations. Why won't we give it to black people?
Well, I don't agree with that.
So
I'm asking you to make the argument.
We gave the Japanese reparations, so black people should get it. That's the argument. I understand.
Okay.
Hold on, Deadlights. I understand that you don't agree with even the Japanese reparation, which sounds crazy because we put them in internment camps. So why won't we repair that damage? So yeah, I understand that you don't agree with it, but we did it before. Why can't we do it again? That's my question.
Yeah, because like I'm not causally responsible for any of the stuff that happened.
We weren't causally responsible for the Japanese either, and we still gave it to them. It's not an excuse.
Yeah, and I don't think we should have. Are you not tracking?
It happened. So why shouldn't happen again?
Dude, I don't care if it happened. I'm just saying we shouldn't have. We're talking about AUK claims right now. We're not talking about history. Are you stupid?
No, I think you are. And if you insult me again, I'm just gonna drop you.
Can you?
Hey, shut the fuck up. Because you see, I didn't insult you first. We were having a good conversation until you started to insult me. So now I'm gonna be hostile to you.
Do you know the difference between AUK claims and synthetic facts?
Hey, bitch, I'm gonna be insulting to you now because at first we were having a nice conversation, but since you decided to be a bitch and insult people, now I'm gonna insult you back.
Dude, that shit was not
the reason.
tough,
Fuck boy. The reason why it should happen, you bitch, is because the government was responsible for damaging the African American community, so they should be the one to fix it. Now, you need to tell me, you bitch, why shouldn't the government fix what they broke?
Yeah, because it would rely on our pockets. I already told you that, dumb fuck. Yeah, you're not tracking.
Yeah, all right. So listen, penis breath. When the government does things that are wrong, hey, bitch boy. When the government does something wrong, right? Government fix, right? When someone does something wrong, they fix it. When someone does something wrong, they say sorry, right? And they repair. Hey, fuck boy, they repair the damage that they've done. Hey, fuck boy, they repair that they done, right?
Yo, come up with new rhetoric.
Hey, stupid. They fix the damage that they cause, and since the government caused damage, government should fix. Why shouldn't government fix damage they cause? Why shouldn't government fix damage they cause?
I already told you.
Right? No, you didn't. You simply said it was going to come out of taxes. Everything comes out of taxes, idiot.
Right.
Yeah. Look. I just said it's going to come out of our pockets.
Stupid person.
So
Everything comes out of pocket. Stupid person.
Right. Deadlights. If I
Stupid person.
Deadlights. I want to ask you a question, Deadlights, and I'm being nice. If I hit your car, am I responsible for hitting your vehicle?
I mean, it depends, but typically, yeah.
What do you mean? It depends.
Like if I were to T-bone you, still technically hit my car because it made contact. So.
No, that's not what I said. I said I hit your car.
That's not incompatible with what I just said.
Okay, so I hit your car. So that means that I am financially responsible for the damages to your vehicle and the physical damages to you and your body, and also maybe the psychological damages that were done to you as well, correct?
Yes, but not at the cost of other people's money.
So this is the thing. So if I'm responsible for that and I do not have any money to pay you and you sue me, what's going to happen?
Sorry, I got a phone call. Can you repeat that?
I do not have the money to pay you and you sue me. What is going to happen?
Hang on. I'm hearing this other live here. 1 second. I'll run right back. I'll follow you.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah. All right. Tom. I'm sorry. Was that your name? Trombone?
Yeah, Trombone Man.
All right, Trombone. How's it going? Are you at least 18? And what did you disagree with?
I'm 19. I probably disagree with 3 and 4. But I guess since you were talking about 4 just now, then we could. Well, my deadlight is back. So you can probably just try and finish what I was talking about.
All right. Give him a second for it to load up.
Yeah, I just wanted him to answer the question. I hit his car. I don't have insurance, and he sues me. Then what? What is going to happen?
I mean, you might just be cooked. I'm not sure.
All right, so that's wrong.
Yeah, no, the government. Yeah, the government
pays it. Yeah, government
That's
pays
not-
it. I'm in insurance, so I can answer that question. The government will pay
So
it.
that means that your
I
insurance
wasn't,
company-
dude. Again, I'm
One
not talking about synthetic facts. I'm talking about hot claims. I'm saying the government shouldn't pay it.
Sir, one
Yeah,
second.
you're obviously not tracking.
Your insurance will cover the bill to have your car replaced in or fixed, and whatever form of damages you have to yourself, your insurance will cover that because I don't have insurance. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, that's what
So
will happen. Yeah.
therefore, 1 second, if you were only covered for 2 months at this point, and your insurance is covering over $20,000 worth of debt, would that also mean that the company and other people who have put money in that insurance company are paying for your car and you?
Yeah, but again, you're
Thank
conflating
you.
synthetic. You're conflating.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
So
You can rest it. You're conflating synthetic facts and hot claims.
So dead brain. That
that was not rhetorical.
So dead brain. This would mean that this would mean just like how insurance works.
Keep stuttering, buddy.
Exactly. So dead brain. This would mean exactly how insurance work. How we all put in money into a pot for products and services. Same way the way that insurance works. Except they're there for profit and the government is not. This is the same exact way it will work for everything else.
Yeah, I agree. That's how it works. I'm just, again, you made an ought claim, right? By
You're
saying should.
Exactly.
Right? And we're talking about ought claims.
I get that. You're simply saying that the government shouldn't broke what they hold on. You're simply saying that the government should not repair what they broke because it'll come out of everybody else's money. This is simply how all insurance works. This is how the government works.
That's how it works. I'm saying it shouldn't work like that. Again,
I understand you're saying that it shouldn't work like that.
Morality.
I understand you're saying that it shouldn't work like that, but that's how it does. Period.
Okay, that's how it works. How does that address my ought claim? Sorry?
I don't care about your ought claim. I'm not talking about ought claim. We're talking about what should happen.
We're arguing ethics right now. What are you talking about?
No, we're not. We're arguing.
When you say
we're arguing whether or not reparations should happen.
See the word should there? That's an ought claim, which is part of ethics. You idiot. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, dead brain. So reparations should happen. So dead brain.
Yo, come up with something new.
So small penis. Reparations should happen because the government damaged the African American community. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So what should they do about it?
Nothing.
Why not?
Because if they were to do something, it would be a burden on us. And I don't think that that's the type of thing that should happen.
It would not.
When I say a burden, I just mean any sort of loss to the people.
It would not. As a matter of fact, reparations towards African Americans will actually boost the economy.
Was that the last matter of fact?
Giving African Americans reparations, giving African Americans giving African Americans reparations, giving African Americans reparations would actually improve the economy. Hey, fuck boy, giving African hold on, everybody be quiet. Giving African Americans reparations would actually improve the economy because it's been shown that African Americans are not only high consumers, but they also start businesses, and they're also a highly educated group. A highly educated group. What slavery does is actually damage people because it puts people in a subservient position, and it actually violates human rights. Giving reparations does not violate anybody's human rights. These are not the same thing. So hold on, dead brain. You call me stupid this entire time, and you're comparing slavery with reparations. You're a fucking moron. Please get off the stage. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Trombone. Trombone, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Trombone. What did you disagree with again?
Yeah, as I said before, I would disagree with 3 and 4. I guess since you just talked about 3, I guess we could talk about 4.
All right,
I think we do have good evidence for God.
All right, great. What
I guess maybe we could start what? Yeah, I think one evidence we could point to is psychophysical harmony.
Physical harmony? What does that mean?
Psychophysical harmony.
What?
So what
If you swipe out, I can't hear you. Say that again.
I'm still here. Another way you can phrase it is mind-brain harmony. So it's just broadly speaking the harmony between like phenomenal states and like functional or physical states in the person's brain. And it could have been the case that like our phenomenal states would not be like harmoniously correlated with the physical.
Psychophysical harmony doesn't have anything to do with phenomenons.
What the fuck does this even mean? I'm
I know
so confused.
I know what he's talking about on a psychological level from a person who is studying psychology and going to school to be a psychologist. I get what he's saying, but it has nothing to do with anything that is metaphysical or spiritual. I don't know what he's talking about.
I didn't even mention anything about spirituality or physics or like metaphysics. What are you talking about?
Yes, you did.
What did I say that involves metaphysics?
You said phenomenon.
Yeah, phenomenal. We're talking about phenomenal states. Those are just like, that's also like synonymous like qualitatives, like mental states, like first person subjective experiences.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, for example, a good way to kind of cash this out, you could kind of, the way that it's done in the original paper done by Brian Cutter is they start by sort of presupposing, this is not necessarily the one argument, but it's just a good way to like kind of, I guess, propose it, is you presuppose that dualism and causal completeness.
Hey, Trombone, I'm sorry. Trombone, hold on. I'm sorry. You're going to have to speak to me in layman's terms. What the hell does any of this mean?
I get what he's saying.
Okay, let me try and define it.
But you've already failed. You started.
How have I failed? You haven't even heard the argument. Holy moly. Okay, let me define the terms clearly so there's no confusion.
You started your argument off with presupposing. Fail.
Okay. Did you hear what I said? What a specific statement I made, and I said I'm presupposing.
Okay. Trouble. Hey, hold on. Everybody pause. Because we're just gonna have to start all over. I do not understand what any of what you said means, right? Kate understands because she's actually a psychologist. But
this does not even have that much to do with a psychologist.
All right, hold on, Trombone. Listen. Trombone, slow down.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, cool. I understand some psychological terms because I'm in school to be a counselor, right? So I do understand some psychological terms, but the way you're using them, I don't understand. I'm not. Hold on, wait, Trombone, hold on. Trombone, wait, bro. Just give me a second. Some of these words that you're using, right? I understand them in certain contexts, but the way you're using them, I don't know what you mean. It's like me saying flurble, gerbil, monerbo, gerbil. I'm pretty sure you know what gerbil is, but the way that I used it, you're not gonna understand what I'm saying. Right? That's what you're doing. So what I'm saying is that actually kind of parse out what you're saying or doing it in layman's terms, because you're probably talking about as like psychology 502, and I'm not there yet, right? And I'm not there yet. So try to say it in layman's terms, and we can go ahead and start all over. What do you mean by anything what you're saying? When you say the mind-body phenomenal state, what does that mean?
Okay, let me be more precise. First of all, I want to clarify. This does not have much of anything to do with psychology. Like, it might be vaguely correlated with psychology. In fact, it does have to do with like the mind. Other than that, there's no real correlation between like psychology and this. Well, regardless, like when I say, for example, phenomenal state is just being indexed to, like, I'm sure you're familiar with like something that's qualitative, like the qualitative things, so like first person subjective experiences, things of that nature.
Okay, so you're saying because of first person subjective experience that shows a God exists?
That's not what's being said. Obviously not. I'm just defining the term.
Okay, so first, okay. I understand first person subjective. I know what that means. But what I'm saying is, like, how do we get to a God?
Okay, and would you ask me to define the terms and to make sure that we understand the terms? So I'm probably gonna have to mention more terms than this, obviously.
Okay, so first person. So I understand first person subjective. I understand that. What I'm saying is, like, when you say we have evidence of a God exists, the first thing you said, I didn't understand it. So what evidence do you think that a God exists?
Look, I point out that it's the harmony between the phenomenal states and the physical functional states.
Okay, so our first person experience and the fact that we can physically do something with our first person experience?
It's not, no. When I say harmony,
so when you say
phenomenal state, the phenomenal state.
All right, so phenomenal state. What do you mean by that?
Okay, I just explained it to you. You could just say like a quantitative experience or I don't know, qualitative
So first person,
It's as qualitative experience is the right word. Qualitative experiences, just
okay.
broadly.
So first person subjective experience.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the harmony between first person subjective experience and what?
And physical functional states, like avoidance behavior.
Okay, so the fact that we can, so exactly what I said before. Our first person, the fact that hold on, Trombone. So the first, Trombone, hold on. So, we just defined when you said phenomenal state, our first person subjective experience, and I said the harmony between that and what, and you said the physical phenomena. So the fact that we can the functional states, exactly. So the fact that we can do physical things with our first person subjective experience, do you think that leads to a God?
No, that's not what the argument is.
And that's what you just said.
The argument is not that we can do physical
AK, isn't that what he just said? Because maybe I'm
no, it's
missing
the
something.
harmony. It is the fact that a good example for this is pain. Like
Okay.
there are certain like neural brain states in a person's brain that lead to avoidance behavior. And these brain states are associated with phenomenal states that have a normative wall that justifies that, for example, with pain, like avoidance behavior that rationalizes that behavior. It could have been the case that the phenomenal state would have a normative wall that doesn't justify it. So you could have the case where someone has a total neutral experience when they engage with negative stimuli.
Right, Trombone, there's a major
and
problem.
they would still partake in avoidance behavior.
Trombone, relax, bro, slow down. Bro,
I get what
like,
he's trying to say. I'll put it in normal terms for you, Volcy. He's trying to say the natural functionality of the brain and the way that the brain works speaks of there being a God. Without all the mumbo jumbo and the philosophy BS, that's what he's trying to say, which I absolutely disagree, because there's a reason why our brains function the way that it does. That's all he's trying to say. The natural function, the natural functionalization of the brain and the way that it responds and the way that it conducts itself. He's trying to say that right there is giving evidence and proof of a God. That's it.
Yeah. So
broadly speaking, you could say that, but you're not.
So trombone, slow down. So yeah, that's what I was that's what I was coming to as well, Kate. I get what you're saying, Trombone. The issue is that the way that our brain works all has to do with evolution. The reason why we avoid pain is because pain mean that we died earlier, right? So that's why we avoid it. So I don't see why. I mean, I know that's just one of your examples, right? But like, I'm pretty sure if we come up with more, we'll see that a lot of the reason why the way our brain works the way that it works, or the harmony between the phenomenal state and the physical state is, or the functional brain state is just because of evolution.
The issue is when we talk about pain, we talk about pain in an evolutionary sense. Pain like presupposes like mind-brain harmony. It presupposes that. Let me put it: evolutionary explanations of pain presuppose mind-brain harmony. So when we talk about evolution, we talk about, for example, an organism interacts with negative stimuli that will harm and prevent its like evolutionary fitness, I guess. And it engages in avoidance behavior. All of what I described can be true, even if the phenomenal states that this organism experiences are like not harmonious, don't rationally justify that avoidance behavior. Like they could
but it does, Trombone,
and still be evolutionary wired.
But Trombone, and avoiding negative stimuli for the most part helps us survive. So that's why most people tend to avoid it.
Obviously, I understand that.
Exactly, but that doesn't show that the God. Hold on, Trombone, but that doesn't show that the God exists.
Yeah, again, the issue here is you're not understanding what the full argument is. The argument is not about necessarily about the avoidance behavior. It's that the avoidance behavior is correlated with a phenomenal experience that gives justification for that behavior.
I understand that. That. But like what I'm saying is that the reason why that phenomenal state exists in our brain is because like the people who are the organisms who had that were able to survive longer. That's the only reason. It doesn't show that as a God exists.
No, the issue is their phenomenal experience has no bearing in evolution. Evolution doesn't select.
Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, it does.
Evolution only selects for like brain functions that will lead to avoidance behavior. It doesn't select for avoidance behavior.
Not necessarily. If what you're saying is true, Trombone, then we should just be calling the nervous system God. because what you're talking about right now is the reactive mechanism that the nervous system sends to the brain to prohibit certain types of thoughts, behaviors, circumstances, and so on and so forth to protect you. The subconscious
look,
mind.
I am
One second.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
1 second. The subconscious mind will send out reactors to the nervous system to stop certain pain levels in or the reaction to pain. So if you're going to be saying what you're saying now, then the nervous system and the subconscious mind is God. You're not making sense.
Look, I don't really even know where to start what you're saying. I don't think what you're saying is even addressing the point I'm making. The point I'm making is, if I have to repeat this again, I guess I'll just go over it again. Evolution is presupposing like psychophysical harmony. Because when you talk about evolution, what evolution selects for is the functional physical state. It selects for brain states that lead to avoidance behavior. For when it comes to like negative stimuli, what selects for brain states that lead to like seeking out behavior for like stimuli that is going to
Positive.
allow for that's going to allow for like more increased evolutionary fitness.
Right.
I am well aware of this. My point is the internal like phenomenal states could have been different. It could have been in almost an infinite number of ways, and the avoidance behavior would still be the same.
Well, but you don't know that though. That's the thing. Like if
Right.
sure, you're simply saying that our evolution could have gone in millions of different ways. Yeah, sure, millions of different ways that could have happened. But you're saying that the avoidance behavior to pain would still be the same, even if evolution could have happened millions of different ways. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be.
How evolution happens. I'm just
Again,
when I'm talking
at the
about
very
the
beginning,
psychophysical
Volcy,
laws.
what
When I
he's
talk about the correlation between the phenomena and some like physical like state in the brain, I'm just talking about the psychophysical laws. The psychophysical laws associate like some like phenomenal state X with some physical state Y. Like this is how they're organized. So this is independent of evolution. It's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily.
How is it independent of evolution?
Volcy, once again,
evolution selects
Wait,
for the physical
everybody pause.
state. It doesn't select for the psychophysical
Everybody
laws.
pause. Everybody pause. Trumbo, give me a second. Everybody pause. All right. We actually have Sean on the stage. I think Sean has been trying to get in on this. Sean, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you go ahead and say that again, please? What you was asking, Trombone?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm failing to understand the way you're communicating.
Me too.
The way the host is interpreting everything you're saying. I'm interpreting it the same way. So I don't know. Maybe it's your communication style, but I'm literally interpreting everything you say the same way he is. But as far as pain, the fact that we experience pain and we have an avoidance reaction to it is a survival trait. And survival traits are perfectly consistent with biological evolution. And even if we couldn't explain it through evolution, even if we were still at a point where we say, I don't know, that doesn't make it evidence for a God. It just means here's this thing we can't explain. You have to have positive evidence for your actual God, not just we can't explain this thing.
Look, I guess I'll try and explain. Maybe it is on my part. Maybe I'm not explaining this as best as possible. But for me, it seems like a pretty intuitive concept. But what I'm saying is obviously when we talk about in evolution, what evolution selects for is like fitness. Like we're talking about like natural selection because there are different like ways of evolution. Like we have like gene flow, genetic drift, and mutations. There are other mechanisms of evolution. But when we talk about natural selection, specifically, we're talking about that. Which I think is what you're describing. We're talking about evolution, talking about the natural selection when it comes to evolution.
That's the mechanism of
selects
evolution.
for physical functional states.
And mind states
that lead to avoidance behavior or lead to some behavior that
mind states as well. It selects for behaviors that are conducive to survival.
Yes.
Also, and furtherance of the species.
Sure.
So it's not just physical things like being able to run faster, but also
I know that when I say physical functions, I'm talking about states in the brain. So these are states that lead to behavior. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I don't get what the issue is because
I'm trying to explain. You're interrupting me.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So evolution selects these physical functional states. These physical like functional states, they are not or maybe you can make it obvious, but they're not identical to the phenomenal states. The phenomenal states, for example, the experience of pain, for instance.
I want to put a pause on that. Nature nurture determines the psychological outcomes of the organism. So
Okay,
nature nurture is a
not even
product.
relevant to this.
But nature nurture is a product of things being in place the way they're in place, which will always lead to a subjective reality point of view.
Okay, that's
pain.
fine. Again,
Pain definitionally is a phenomenal. I want to let him try to flesh it out.
Yeah,
because I'm not getting it.
It's a phenomenal state. What I'm saying is the avoidance behavior. The avoidance physical states that lead to avoidance behavior, that lead to avoidance behavior in pain.
Yeah.
Let's now do some pain, I guess. The physical states that lead to that avoidance behavior, they could have been correlated to phenomenal states that do not justify that physical state. Like for example,
what physical state?
For example, with pain, for instance, has a normative role that alerts us. It tells us to avoid this, this thing, I suppose. The issue with that is it could have been the case that there could have been some other phenomenal state that's correlated with this the dysfunctional state that doesn't have a normative role that justifies the functional state.
What do you mean by normative role that functions?
All right, so trombone. Everybody pause. Trombone, pause real quick.
Phenomenal state.
Pause, trombone. Come on, bro. Pause real quick. Calm down. None of this shows that a God exists, bro. You're simply saying that the phenomenal state of us having pain, and then the physical state, the physical phenomenon of us having the avoidance behavior to pain, and that harmony, therefore God. This is crazy. Look, that doesn't show a God exists, bro. Like at all.
The inference would make is probably some sort of adduction. Would say that like if like naturalism, atheistic naturalism were true, and there is I suppose there's sort of a principle of indifference. There are a lot of ways that the psychophysical laws could have been, a lot of ways that phenomenal states and physical states could have been organized. And the vast majority of them are going to lead to disharmonious outcomes.
How do you know that?
All under what do you mean?
What do you mean by disharmonious outcomes?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
A disharmonious outcome would be, for instance, if you had like avoidance behavior, like let's say the avoidance of getting your hand cut open.
No, as a matter of fact, hold on, wait, hold on, stop. Hold on, stop. We don't even have to go down this route. It doesn't matter how else it could have been. It's not. Let's talk about what actually is. The fact that we avoid pain doesn't show that a God exists.
Again, do you know what an abduction is?
Bro,
yes.
The fact that we avoid pain does not show that a God exists. If that's not what you're arguing, what are you trying to argue? You keep on saying, hold on, wait, stop. You're simply saying that the phenomenal state in our mind manifesting in physical behaviors, therefore God. That doesn't make any sense because those phenomenal states happen and our physical behavior towards those states are simply because of evolution. That could be the answer right there.
No,
you're simply saying that there's
psychophysical laws don't select. The evolution doesn't select the psychophysical laws.
What are psychophysical laws? What are those?
The psychophysical laws.
What are those? What is that? What is that?
I'm explaining it to you right now. They are the ways that phenomenal states and physical states, physical functional states appeared.
Okay, so you're saying that these phenomenons that we have physical reactions to them, therefore shows God. That makes no sense.
Matter of fact,
I understood exactly what you just said.
It's consistent with evolution.
Evolution doesn't say anything about it. My point.
Yes, it does because it selects for survival. Yes, it does.
Survival.
It is psychophysical laws have no bearing on evolution.
I think what he's missing,
they are.
guys.
All right, everybody pause. Go ahead, Caddy.
I think what he's missing is evolution is a natural product of the natural function of the cosmos. It's completely.
I don't even know what you're talking about. This is not relevant to me.
You're interrupting me. Listen, listen. With your ears, listen. Okay. In this cosmos, there is the moon, there is the sun, there is conditions that we have, and when we talk about evolution is within those conditions. Evolution, depending on where you are on Earth, is going to be different. And when we talk about evolution in the terms of us as a species, it follows a certain order. It has a certain way we evolve. from the water to where we are now.
Mhm.
That's evolution as we know it, and it's a natural. It has to have natural conditions. It has a natural conditions for it to happen like that. Now, when we talk about the nature of the psyche, well, the nature of the psyche is going to be very subjective depending on where you live and where you are. And so is your biology
Look,
too.
again, this is nothing to do with the confusion. I know what evolution is. Like I know. For example, let me just ask. If since I don't know what evolution is, host, do you know what the four ways that evolution, the four mechanisms of evolution are? Do you know what the four mechanisms of evolution are? Host?
Yeah, natural selection, genetic drift.
Yeah, gene drift, gene flow, and mutation. Yeah, I know what those are. I know how evolution works. And I this is not an argument about whether evolution is real or whether it works.
So, Chamba, we have to get almost done here, right? Like I understand. Hold on, hold on. Yeah. I understand that you know how evolution works, but what you're trying to say is that the fact that there's basically a harmony between the brain state, the phenomenal state that happens in our brain, and our physical reaction to it. That process right there, that process where it happens, that's where you're putting the God in. And what I'm saying is that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. That's what we're all saying.
No, okay.
Yeah, we have to be the case. There need to be an argument in place.
Hold on, truth. We actually got to go ahead and move on. But come on, next time, Trombone, because we're out of time. All right, truth. It's going to be your time to shine now. Let me go ahead and put the time on the clock. Excuse me. Are you at least 18? And what did you disagree with?
Yeah, I'm 20, but yeah, I'm above 18. Yeah, I disagree with there is no good evidence for God. Yeah.
What good evidence do you think there is?
So when we're in reference to evidence, what would be in reference to like just specifically empirical, like logical? Yeah. So what if God just isn't an empirical claim?
Then we can't show it to exist. That's not good evidence for it.
Wait, so you don't think things can be rationalized?
Things can be when you say rationalized, what do you mean? There are things that can be rationalized.
We can come to conclusions based on the world without having to like experience it, but we can like rationalize it. We could
right. We don't necessarily have to experience it.
Logical conclusion about it.
Right. We're not we can rationalize things, right? There are rational arguments for things, but at a certain point, you just can't argue things into existence, right? You just can't define things into existence. It doesn't if I defined, like, for example, if I define myself a millionaire and I don't have $1 million in my bank account, I don't exist as a millionaire. You see what I'm saying? Like that is it. You just can't define it to existence. That's what I mean.
Claims.
Hold on. I'm just giving an example. What I'm saying is that hold on. Truth. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Yeah, I need to slow down, bro. I don't know what be wrong with y'all. Slow down. Listen to what I'm saying. So I understand that there are things out there that can be rationalized if we don't have the physical evidence of it yet. I do get that part. What I'm saying is that at a certain point, you're going to need something empirical in order for you to actually prove what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's just a category error, right? A millionaire is going to be a term that humans have coined, which references the systematic.
Don't argue about the millionaire stuff. I'm arguing about what I'm actually saying. What I'm saying is that at a certain point, you're going to need something empirical to prove your point, right or wrong.
That's just incorrect.
Okay. So tell me, what thing can we show to be true that has nothing empirical behind it, beside our opinion?
What can we show to be true? I mean, if that's the claim, then we just can't like prove science to be true.
Yeah, we can. I mean, hold on, wait. Actually, no. Let me back up. I'm sorry. Science is a process. You don't prove science true.
Okay, so wait. If science is going to be a process, can you just like prove the axioms it relies on? Oh,
what?
Wait, you can't. You just So science is going to rely on axioms such as consistency axioms, right? Or that consistency axioms like the world is going to stay the same today as it was yesterday. That's a consistency axiom. It relies on many other different axioms, right? But we never like go into these, right? Those are fun. We just assume those to be true, right? So if you're saying that we need empirical evidence for something in order to be true, then we just can't use science or say, oh, science is a process that's how we prove things. Right?
Science relies on empirical evidence.
That's just wait. Can you tell me a single consistency axiom that can be proven?
So true. Hold on, truth, because you're going to into the weeds. When it comes to what you're saying, right, that it relies on the axiom that things are going to stay consistent. That's empirical. Things have always stayed consistent.
What? That's just...
Right. So like for example, the laws of physics, right? Physics has been consistent as far as what we always seen. Now, can the laws of physics change tomorrow and we all fly? Yeah, sure. I guess. Hold on, truth. Hold on. Yeah. So can the laws of physics change tomorrow and we can all fly like Superman? Yeah, sure. That could happen tomorrow in order to be physical. Truth, be quiet, bro. Be quiet, bro. Be quiet. Shut the fuck up, bro. Jesus Christ.
Be quiet.
Shut up.
Damn.
All right. So you said that it relies on certain axioms, right? That science relies on certain axioms like things are going to be consistent. The world's going to be consistent. Yeah, sure.
By the way,
that's
not even an axiom. I mean, we can't prove it like deductively, but through inductive reasoning, seeing how the world works, how it's always worked, that the laws of the laws of nature have been consistent in the past. We infer that it will be the same in the future. That all of a sudden, for example, gravity isn't going to stop working as it does.
Yeah, shout out to TBV Raid. Truth. You gotta slow down and be quiet, bro. If someone is making an error, be quiet, bro. Be quiet. Stop doing that. We actually want to have a back and forth conversation. First of all, shout out to the TBV Raid, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I do have a live goal. Go ahead and hit that live goal. I appreciate that. But truth, if we're going to have a conversation, you just can't keep interrupting people, bro. You just can't keep doing that. You just can't keep saying category here. It's not a philosophy class. We're just having a discussion. I understand when you said about the thing about the axiom, right? I get that. What I'm trying to say is that we have no evidence that the laws of physics are going to change tomorrow, right? So yeah, we have to assume it's going to be consistent. We have to assume that because we have no evidence of it otherwise. But none of this actually brings us to a God, bro.
And what I was pointing out too,
wasn't the argument.
Truth. I'm going to finish what I'm going to finish what I was saying.
Because
you talked over me before I was done. Thank you. You interrupted me to literally repeat what I just said. So try to actively listen to the other person and respond to what they say. Yes, it hasn't been proven deductively. I literally said that, but we can inductively infer, not prove with proof beyond a reasonable or beyond any doubt, but reasonably infer from inductive reasoning that the laws of nature have been consistent throughout as far back as we can look, and we have no reason to believe it will be that way in the future. So we have reasonable confidence, not absolute proof, that they will remain the same. Furthermore, the scientific method relies on empiricism. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so, right, by definition, an axiom can't be proven deductively, right? That's why I tried to stop you. Too, and then inductive reasoning, right, just presupposes logic. So you can't say we can just use inductive reasoning for this claim, right? Because you're just presupposing logic, right?
The laws of logic are an axiom.
You just complained that I overspoke you, so you're going to let me finish, okay? All right. So anyways, if this is going to be the case that inductive reasoning presupposes logic, then, and you're saying, oh, but we can't deductively prove it, that's why it's assumed as true, right? Because we can't get these fundamentals, right, or these consistencies without presupposing something, right? So you just have to assume it to be true.
Truth. Let me ask you a question. Do you think ridiculous. Yeah, it is. But truth, let me ask you a question. Do you think that the laws of there's a snake in my boot? Do you think that the laws of logic are descriptive or prescriptive?
Do I think the laws of which specific ones? Like,
all of them. Any of them.
Any of them.
Are you just in reference to like classical logic?
Any of them. The laws of logic, the three classical ones that we know.
Wait, repeat the question.
Do you think that they're prescriptive or descriptive?
We could say some are going to be prescriptive, some are going to be descriptive. It really just depends.
Which ones do you think are descriptive and which one do you think are prescriptive?
Yeah, sure. I guess we could say law of identity is going to be prescriptive.
Law of identity is descriptive. It's prescriptive.
Wait, why do you think the law of identity is going to be descriptive? What's going to be the argument for that?
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. Let me just parse this out. You said that the law of identity you think is prescriptive.
Yeah. Do you want like a formal syllogism for that?
I don't care about syllogisms. This is not a philosophy class. Syllogisms don't get us anywhere.
I mean,
hold on. Truth. Stop. I don't do syllogisms and the Philbro stuff on my stage. I don't care about that. This gets us nowhere. What I want is actual empirical data that shows that a God exists. We cannot argue our way there, right? But you're saying that we can't use science either.
Yeah,
so what do we use?
Wait, yeah, that's only wait. If you say we can only we can't argue our way there, you just have to give now an argument for strict empiricism. Because what if I deny strict empiricism? So once again,
Then you're insane. Then you're insane. Hold on. Let me finish. If you deny strict empiricism, then you're insane, because literally everything that we use uses empiricism. You started your car today. You're getting paid from your job. All that uses empiricism. Literally all of it.
That's not what
you don't use philosophical arguments to say I'm going to get $25 an hour. Like you sign a contract and it's $25 an hour. Empirical.
Wait,
right?
Are you okay? Wait, are you okay? Right. So strict empiricism.
Hey, truth, do this for me. Stop the snarkiness. Don't do that shit. Cause I wasn't being rude to you, was I?
I mean,
so hold on, wait, stop.
That's pretty rude.
Stop. Don't do the snarkiness. Do that shit again.
I mean, you were pretty rude to me though.
Hey, no, I wasn't. No, I was not. No, I was not. No, I was not. Number one, this is my stage. So when you interrupt people and I get annoyed by that, that's when I start to mute. All right. That's not me being rude. That's me trying to control the stage so we get a proper conversation going on. You being snarky, you being shut up, you being snarky and saying, are you okay? Because I'm fine. I'm all well and good. Right. So, but what I'm saying is that if you ignore empiricism, if you say that empiricism isn't true or you reject empiricism, what I'm saying is that would be insane, because we all use it and we have no other choice. That's what I'm trying to say. So, okay, be quiet for a second. Okay, be quiet for a second. So if you're saying that we don't use empiricism for everything, sure, right? I'm pretty sure if we go down a list of things, there are things that we can't use empiricism for, like saying that my pet cat Sylvester loves me. There's no way I can use empiricism for that, right? I just got to believe it. So what I'm asking you is that when it comes to a God, right? I try to use empiricism because we can't argue our way to the supernatural. But you're saying that we can't use science either. So my question is, okay, cool. What do we use then? How do we get to the supernatural?
Yeah, wait. So you just didn't understand what strict empiricism is. You just agreed to you don't.
Okay, sure. Define it.
Don't use strict empiricism.
Okay, sure.
Right?
Define it.
Because strict empiricism says we can only prove things based on empiricism, right? Or empiricism is the only way for like something to be true. Right, but that's just not the case.
That's not what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that empiricism is the only. Actually, no. Crap. It just kind of went over my head. I'm sorry. All right. So, what you said about strict empiricism again? Repeat that one more time, please.
Yeah, strict empiricism simply states that the only way for something to be true, or the only way for something to be verifiable, is simply through empirical evidence. Right, but then
that part is true. No, that part is true. The only way we can actually show something to the only way we can verify something is through empiricism. That's the only way.
Yeah,
that's true.
But the problem with that is now you have to give an argument for strict empiricism.
No, I don't.
And that's just going to presuppose logic.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Wait, you don't?
No, I don't.
Okay, so then why should I
because that's the only way to survive, bro. That's really the hold on, truth. I don't have to give an argument for it because that's literally a brute fact of our reality. There is no way to verify something without some sort of evidence for it. Because again, I can simply say that I'm a billionaire. Would you believe me just because I say it?
Wait, yeah, a billionaire is just going to be a subjective
truth. Listen to what I'm truth. Listen to my question. If I were to tell you that I'm a billionaire, how do I actually verify that?
Wait, yeah, I just don't hold to that type of definition, right? I don't think
truth. You need to everybody pause. Truth. Stop. Stop. This is not a category error. This is literal. You know what a billionaire is, bro. Stop playing around. Stop playing around. Right. Okay, so hold on, truth. Be quiet for a second. Be quiet for a second. Shut up for a second. Stop trying. I'm not trying to trap you here, bro. This is not a logic trap. This is not a deep philosophical argument. This is a regular conversation between two regular motherfuckers. You and I both know what a billionaire is. We both know what that is. We both know how we define that. We define a billionaire by someone whose net worth has crossed $1 billion. That's how we define it. We define dollars as the currency that the United States of America uses. We define the United States of America as the country that we're in. Listen, we all know what these things mean, bro. You don't have to do all this. You do not have to do all this, bro. Yes, we can change the definition of a billion, but we're not doing that right now. We're not doing that.
Okay, so then it's
True. Stop. No. Be quiet. Be quiet for a second. Be quiet for a second.
Maybe if you were
Be quiet for a second. Shut up for a second. Be quiet. Shut up for a second. Shut up. Okay, so now that you're gonna be rude, you dumb fuck. So now that you want to be rude, child. Hey, child. Now that you want to be rude, hey, child. Now that you want to be rude, hey, stupid kid. Now that you, hey, stupid kid.
You're actually like a moron.
Stupid kid.
You're a grown adult and you're
Stupid kid.
Can you address the argument?
Stupid person. Stupid kid. Hey, stupid kid.
Address the argument.
Stupid kid.
Address the argument.
Hey, listen. I need you to shh. Oh, we're gonna do the racism now. Hey, we're gonna do the racism now. Okay, cool. We're gonna do the racism now. Hey, great. We're gonna do the racism now. Are you jealous that I get white women? Are you jealous that I get white women truth? Is that the reason? Are you jealous because your blonde-haired mom wants this dick? Is that the problem? Huh? Since we're gonna do the racism now, since we're gonna do the racism now, are you jealous that your white mom wants this penis? Are you jealous that your white mom wants this penis, son? Did you want that your sister? Are you jealous that your girlfriend is leaving you for black men? Is that the reason? Is that the reason? Is that the reason? You want to do the racism now? Oh, so you're not white. So you're black. So you're black. So you're black. You're black. So you're coon.
I'm black and Asian.
So you're coon. You're black and you're black and Asian. So you want to do the racism?
Stutters. Get off the stutter shot.
Hey, listen, coon. Listen, coon. Hey, coon. Hey, trash panda.
Listen, monkey.
Trash panda. That Nat Turner would have hanged. Hey, trash panda. That Nat Turner would have hung. All right, so let's get back to the conversation, trash panda. All right, so listen, coon. We're gonna go back to our argument about God. And since you're half Asian, I know that the racist Asian side is taking over.
Peon. Stop talking, okay?
Great.
Okay.
Cool. All right, cool.
You're still a monkey.
All right. So this is why black folks tend not to trust people who are biracial. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on.
Facts.
If you would like to call in, go ahead and call in. I haven't got anyone else who call in yet. I think I did see someone, but they called in for a second and then got off. Not sure why that is. All right. Who's next? Who's coming up? Oh, it's Trust. Hey, Trust. How's it going, Trust?
What up? Hey, what up? Hey, as a biracial person, 100% approve. Just saying.
Oh, man.
You better not. Not.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Is he really black talking like that?
Yeah, they always say that. They always say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. A lot of them are like that.
Yeah, a lot of them are very much like. Okay, we got someone next. Hammy, how's it going, Hammy? Are you at least 18? How's it going, bro? Are you at least 18?
Yes, I'm at least 18.
Disagree with anything I have on the board?
No.
Oh, okay, you're friendly. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
Oh, I probably should have said that. Hammy's from my life.
No, all good. All good. Hey, but I appreciate you for the raid, Trust. Hammy,
Absolutely,
I do appreciate
brother.
you being here as well. Oh, we do have a call. Give me 1 second, guys.
All right, hey brother, I'm gonna drop. Go ahead and kick me down. I just wanted to give my 2 cents in, but I'm gonna let you do your thing, man.
Gotcha. Appreciate you.
All right, man.
Call from.
All right, 210. How's it going? Can I get your name and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Well,
I want more information. My name is Seth. Yes, I'm over 18. The reparations thing, what would that look like?
Yeah, sure. All right, Seth. Now I'm on TikTok right now. Okay, so that means that my guests can hear you, but you won't be able to hear them. So just in case I get quiet, it's because I'm getting a question from them. Okay, just to let you know.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, so the way that reparations would look like, in my opinion, would be twofold. Number one, would be cash, in my opinion, that needs to happen, and number two would be systemic changes. When it comes to cash, I think what will happen, right? Like, because number one, there are 48 million Black individuals in the United States, as far as we can measure. Now, about 8 million of those people are immigrant born. Like people like myself, my parents came from Haiti in the 70s to the United States, etc. So we're part of that 8 million who are immigrant born. I don't believe that we should get those reparations because we weren't here for Jim Crow. We weren't here for slavery. We weren't here for redlining, any of that. So those are the things that damage the African-American community. So it should go directly to them. So it goes down from 48 million to about 40 million African-American individuals. Now, of course, there are like 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds in those individuals, right? You're not going to give a 10-year-old $100,000, $150,000. So it'll probably go to the parents. If you do it that way, that cuts it down to about 35 million households in the United States. And let's say we round it off to about $125,000. That would probably be about $7.5 to $10 trillion, which sounds like a lot at one time, but you don't have to do it all at one time. You can do it year by year. You can do it $500 billion or $1 trillion a year to certain African-American families until all the reparations are paid, right? And once it's paid out, you're actually could finish that off in about maybe 5 to 10 years, right? So that's number one, the cash part. The second thing that I would say is systemic changes. I would say this, because African American communities were redlined. What we should do in these redline areas, the first thing we should do, I say, is a pilot program, meaning those high schools, every single student graduates with some sort of trade in their hands, meaning be an LPN, CDL, electrician, welder, because we're short on those anyway, plumbers, those type of things. These type of professions, they start you off with at least $60,000 to $70,000 a year. So we get kids right out of high school who can go directly into the workforce if they don't want to go to college. They have the option to go to college, but if they don't want to, they can go directly into the workforce and then build up their community and build up their wealth. Meaning kids from like the 4th ward of Houston, the 5th ward of Chicago, the southwest of New Orleans. All these people who live in really, really impoverished areas are now graduating high school as an electrician or as an LPN. You know what I mean? Maybe even a police officer, and making all that, and they're making that money now, and they'll stay in their communities and circulate that money in their communities, right? So that should change. And the second thing I would say systemically is the criminal justice system. We should be focusing more on a system of basically rehabilitation instead of carceral punishment. Making sure that we can get people, not just educated, but treat them as human while they're in jail, not put them in cages as animals. You see what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure there are people who will be hesitant about that because of things like rape, incest, people who assault others, murders. Exactly. People are concerned about those type of folks, right? I get that. But most people are in jail for poverty crimes, robbery, burglary, things like that. That's what most people are in jail for. So if we give them more opportunities to improve their lives, you'll see the recidivism rate goes down. And what I would say that is beneficial about this is that it's not only going to be for African Americans. This would also help out poor whites, because poor whites are also part of the targeted slave class. Like the criminal justice system always also targets poor white people to put them in jail in order to work off for the state, to make profit for the state. You see what I'm saying? So like those systemic changes wouldn't only affect the Black community, it affect all of America. You know what I mean? Especially, people who are like the poor whites over in like Appalachia, rural Kentucky, Boston, places like that, where the police target those communities as well in order to put them in jail because of, economic depression and stuff like that. So that's how I think reparations will look. Does all that make sense?
It does. And I could see, with the cash option, that'd be good if that was like maybe like a trust or even if it was outlaid like you're talking about. I mean, that's pretty similar to instead of cutting taxes for the billionaires that Trump's pushed through twice, you just make that a reparations bill instead of a billionaire tax cut bill. And it's the same amount of money, except this time it's going to the bottom instead of the top.
100% agree. Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah,
You can make that a reparations bill. Yeah, 100% agree. And not only that, I think what they've been discussing recently, which is kind of funny, is UBI, Universal Basic Income. Now, in my opinion, UBI is going to come regardless because, you know, the tech industry is trying to make AI and the robots take over all the jobs, right? So I think UBI is going to happen regardless, but you can do it as a pilot first to the African American community as reparations. Yeah, I mean, like because I think they want to do what the UBI will look like is what Milton Friedman suggested, which is like a negative income tax. All the income tax that you paid throughout the entire year gets rebated to you at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they're basically all the taxes that you pay, you know, from sales to like sales tax, income tax, all that, it all gets rebated to you. Yeah, all of it gets rebated to you. That would be that would be kind of be a UBI that they're trying to do, right? I can see that being part of reparations, but I think the first option that I said works better in my opinion. But UBI is coming, in my opinion. It's going to come. Probably when we're like in our 50s. I'm not sure how old you are. I think you're in your 40s, right?
Yeah. Hey, good. Wow. Perfect.
Yeah, you're in your 40s now. So when me and you in our 60s, we're probably going to see UBI, to tell you the truth.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is something I kind of daydream about, and I don't know anybody who's black that I talk to on a daily basis or anything like that. And so I saw you come up. I thought this is the perfect guy to ask because to me, it's like when someone talks about reparations, it's like a cash option is not super appealing because then you're going to have, you know, the poor whites, they're going to be violent against blacks because of reparations. And I'm like, well, that's not ideal because that might create like a race war situation. But, you know, if you're doing like, and you know, the same thing I was going to ask about incarceration, because like there's people that, you know, they're in prison because of, you know, the psyops that our own government has been doing on the black community for, you know, 50 years. And so it's like those people, they should get out with the trade and they should get out with money in their pocket. They should get out with a guaranteed place to live type stuff.
Exactly.
To give them on their feet. But it's like, you know, how are you going to, not that you need to solve the world's problems, but how do you reduce, these race hate crimes and racism? I obviously can't ask you how to end racism, but like, if we give reparations, how do we do it in a way that doesn't also incite violence? You know,
right?
like,
yeah, no, I definitely understand that. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. What's your name? I'm sorry, Kate. I'm sorry. What's your name? Joe. I'm sorry. What was your name again? Seth. I'm sorry about that, Seth. Give me 1 second, Seth, because someone on my TikTok has a question. Give me one moment. Go ahead, Kate.
It's interesting. I want you to ask Seth. It's interesting that when we're talking about black reparations, that all of a sudden, and I'm saying all of a sudden for a reason, because when we looked at the Japanese, when we looked up other groups who receive reparations, there was no conversation of what about other groups inciting violence, or what about other groups becoming jealous? And it's just interesting to me that now that we're talking about black people getting that, this is a conversation that came up. It's almost as if people want to try to cross every T and dot every I when it comes up to black people getting reparations. And I just find that so interesting. It's almost as if we're conditioned to try to, every way, shape, or form, prohibit this from happening.
All right, so, I'm sorry, Caddy. Give me 1 second. I got you, Caddy. All right. So yeah, Seth, what Kate was saying was that when it comes to reparations for African Americans, right, what we see a lot, and we see this all the time, is that all of a sudden, like there's like a caveats, a lot of like, oh, what about this or what about this? There's never when, for example, when the Japanese got reparations, there wasn't really a conversation on how do we stop, racial violence from happening. But when it comes to Black people, all of a sudden, how do we stop racial violence from happening? It's not to say that is anything nefarious on you. That is a question that we've all been asked before, because I'm pretty sure that you see that question being asked, right? How you stop racial violence? And I want you to think about that, right? How come when there was another group getting reparations, racial violence wasn't on the table, but when it's Black people getting reparations, now racial violence may be on the table? You see how that's how that's concerning, right? Yeah. You get
very fair, Kate. Kate's commentary there. Then, I didn't hear what she said. You're speaking for her. That's pretty fair. To be honest, I wasn't. Are you talking about like internment camp Japanese? We did reparations for them.
Yeah, we did. That's just not part of.
Wow.
It's not taught in our schools, but we did.
To be fair, I was taught in Texas,
right?
So
right.
I didn't find out about the East Texas towns getting burned down, or Oklahoma, genocide towns getting burned down for Black people. I didn't learn about any of that stuff until after I got out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot I don't know, because our books are all printed by Maxwell and all them. So
you know about Maxwell. Yeah, I grew up in Florida. It's the same thing. Maxwell and Preston. And Pearson. Right. They're the ones who print our books, and they don't include any of that. But yeah, you see how that's fair. Like it's on the table.
That's super fair. And to be honest, like that.
Let me just actually address your question, because it shouldn't be like and the thing is, the reason why it's on the table is because when it comes to Black people improving, for some reason there's a section of society, what we call the dominant society, which is usually white Christians. Unfortunately, they're the ones who get the most violent about it. And it's really, really crazy. You see what I'm saying? So when you say, how do we avoid that? At the end of the day, I think Black people, like there's a lot of Black people who say that even though they want reparations, they're afraid of it, or not afraid of it. They're concerned about what you said. A bunch of white folks going crazy and becoming violent because of it. At that point,
historically violent people.
Right. So I would say the only thing is that what Black people are going to have to do is essentially shore up our own defenses, because we don't think that the police are going to defend us, right? So we're going to have to go ahead and shore up our own defenses and lock in with other allies from other groups. Give me 1 second, Seth, because someone else from my TikTok had a question. All right. Caddy, did you remember what your question was?
Yeah. In terms of the Asian community and reparations, part of the reasons why America, being a capitalist country, only gave those reparations was because of the connection that those people had to their mainland, where they were bringing in resources. Because if you research like Chinatowns and other things of that nature, they had direct contact with their homeland to gain the United States more resources. When the United States said, oh, wait a minute, we were about to destroy your cities like we did these other people's, but we see that you guys got all these resources and all these things coming in. But it's ironic, because they do that for them, but they don't do that to the Black community when they rob them of their connection to their homelands. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So that's the messed up part. It's the huge messed up part. And
Gotcha.
I want to add, when you speak on capitalism, there's no fair and equalness in capitalism, and probably never will be. Capitalism is the poison in dilution of culture in general. And other, just look like white people in general. So far from their Irish and Italian roots, they don't even have they made up a false identification of culture. America has no culture, but the cultures that came into America.
Gotcha. All right. So, Seth, what Caddy was pointing out is that when America gave the Japanese reparations, right, a lot of that had to do with the fact that those Asian communities were bringing in resources in order to further the capitalist goal into America. And that was one of the main drivers, one of the main reasons why I did so. And basically it just shows how capitalism is basically this pervasive force and how white people in this country, unfortunately, have been all amalgamated into this huge pot of quote unquote whiteness. But we've always said before that whiteness actually denigrates a lot of your culture, because we always say that you're not really white, you're Italian, you're Irish, you're German, you're Spaniard, you're Anglo-Saxon. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like here's one thing that I always point out, because like even English like folklore is like populates the entire world. Like look at one of the greatest TV shows ever, Game of Thrones. That was based off completely English culture, right? But being here in America, a lot of them lost that. You know what I'm saying? They lost all that. You know what I'm saying? So, but one of the greatest TV shows, one of the greatest book series and on the planet was created from that culture, but they don't have connection to that anymore. They lost all that. They've all been amalgamated into this whiteness thing. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that race after I think when we deconstruct a lot of when it comes to deconstruct a lot of capitalism and things like that, you start to deconstruct race as well, like breaking down into what actually is race. It is a construct that is pervasive. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, in America, for white people, a lot of the bonding over the culture, quote unquote, is racism. You know what I mean? And we see that with white kids today. And that all that is far removed from reparations, but I hope we were able to answer your question.
I do appreciate you talking on the subject, because like I said, I haven't found anybody else to actually have this conversation. And being as Cat Williams would say, being a man from the mountains of Caucasus, I don't have a lot of people around me to talk about it here in Texas, but I do appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate Cat's insight. I'm gonna think on that for a while.
Gotcha.
So,
hey, I appreciate
you. Have a good rest of the day.
You as
yes,
well.
Sir.
All right,
Can I ask you a question, Volcy?
Yeah, sure. W's in the comment for. Give me 1 second.
What is okay.
W in the comments for Seth. I always love when someone likes to come in and learn. That's amazing. I do have another caller. I'm gonna go ahead and get to them. And Kadam, get your question. Give me 1 second.
Call from
George.
How's it going, George? Give me 1 moment. I had someone on my TikTok. I'm gonna get that question. I'm gonna get to you. You're gonna hear hold music for about 1 minute and a half. All right, give me 1 second.
Sure, no problem.
What you're saying, Caddy?
Well, what does reparations look like without capitalism? That's the question.
That is a very good question, because you're right. Because my suggestion kind of assumes that capitalism is still around. So yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to ponder on that for a while, because one thing that I've been looking into is something called solar punk. I'm not sure if you heard of that, but like that's probably what it will look like. That's as close to a utopia on Earth that we can get. I'm not sure if you heard of solar punk. You ever heard of solar punk, Caddy?
No, I'll have to look into it.
Yeah,
I mean, I think, giving my perspective on it, I think it is building up relations with what was lost within cultural identity of the community. You know what I mean? I think if you were able to patch up some of the connections between the homeland and America and be like, hey, we'll give you incentives to move to another country, and you'll be set right in that country where you can, where you can grow. But there's so much of a long disconnect now, you know what I mean? And that's the great unfortunate part about that. So a lot of people will feel like, I don't want to go somewhere else and start and have to learn a whole bunch of new different things and a whole bunch of different stuff, because America has become just as much as part.
Give me a second. Let me go ahead and get to George. Hey, George, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. Are you at least 18, and did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Yes.
Sure. What did you disagree with?
Hello. Well, it's not disagreeing. Actually, I was just listening to. I was just running through, and I think I'm a black man in the U.S., and I think reparations would be a great thing for us. But also, I was wondering, like, if they do give us reparations, like, what would we lose? Like, would it separate us from, like, government assistance, such as, like, food stamps or Section 8 or any other programs?
Gotcha. All right. So I do have people on my TikToks, but you're not gonna be able to hear them. I haven't fixed that yet. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna fix that sometime this weekend, I promise. But you're not gonna be able to hear them. So if you hear me get quiet and tell you to hold on for a second, it's because one of them asking me a question to ask you. Okay. So just let you know that. All right. So when it comes to that, right? Yeah, I have heard. I've heard that before. That if reparations does happen, then all of a sudden they will just kind of refuse or bar you from getting social services, like you said, you know, things like food stamps, things like Medicaid and stuff like that. That's why in my opinion, number one, we should have done universal health care a long time ago. That's what Medicare was going to be, but of course, because of racism, it didn't happen. But that's what I would say. I would push for changes to our social programs, because honestly, I do not like the way that we do welfare in this country. I think it's inefficient and it causes dependency. So I don't like the way that we do welfare in this country. I would simply just do a whoever needs assistance, whoever needs welfare, just give them UBI. You know what I'm saying? Just give them just give them cash money. Whatever they do with it, whatever they do with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that helps out. That helps people out better, in my opinion. But as far as you're concerned, the fact that, you know, before that happens, they can, you know, kick all these people off of Medicaid and Medicare and cash assistance. That is something to be concerned about. However, if we do cash reparations, those that money can be used in order to basically supplement those things, because basically, you know, food stamps is essentially money to buy food. But if you give a family $125,000, they'll be able to buy their food and get, you know, what's the thing called again? What we're saying, you know, Medicaid, not Medicaid, healthcare.
Yeah, the own insurance and the own healthcare.
Their own insurance and their own healthcare. Yeah, my bad, man. It's been a long day, but
no, you good, brother.
Yeah, but yeah, their own insurance, their own healthcare. If you give them that money, now should they be barred from it forever? That's something that I would say no. But I do understand the concern of, oh, we gave you reparations, so now you're barred from it forever. Yeah, I mean, we gave it to you.
I'm looking at.
Yeah, we gave it to you 10 years ago. Now you're barred from it forever. Yeah, I mean, which is why I would pair reparations with systemic changes, like the high school program that I was talking about, where and every single student who graduates high school graduates with some sort of trade in their hands. And I would extend that to adults, like African American adults who if they don't have, I'm sure there's plenty of African Americans who do have these skills. But if they don't have these skills, they can go back to those trade schools. And no matter how old you are, you could be 45, 50 years old. If you want to go back to a trade school in order to become an electrician or whatever, you can go back to night school in order to learn those skills. And boom, you now have the skills. That's why I would pair it with those systemic changes, just in case something does happen and the money goes to, you know, paying off debts, and they don't have anything anymore. You know what I mean? Now they have to go back to doing something else. You understand what I mean?
I understand exactly what you said. I think that's a great vision that you have, but my concern is, okay, just will it be, or if it's a setup, you know, to because giving people money is a great thing, but if they don't have financial literacy and don't understand money, how it works, is just like the typical lottery winner that wins 3.7 million or $40 million.
They squander
and 6 months later is gone. So I think the biggest thing is financial education will be the largest thing to help someone with, and kind of have different advocates or agents great agents to help someone to be able, you know, the ones that's not knowledgeable, to be able to set up a system or some financial literacy for them, so they won't be in that situation later. Because I know some people, unfortunately, that got some of that what's that money, that PPP money,
and they wasted
PPP loans.
And they wasted. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, they just went and brought all types of Louis and Gucci and Prada, and now here they are now in 2026 facing 20 years in prison
exactly.
because they squandered the money. That's the biggest thing. That's I think it could be a big setup to help, and it also could be a big setup to destroy
to
as
destroy.
well. So,
No, I got you. I feel you. I do get that concern, right? Two things I've always said. Well, one thing I've always said is that two things I will say. Number one, when we look at like what Black people spend their money on, is typically almost always the majority of the income is on necessities, right? So I do believe that the majority of people would spend their reparations on, you know, building a new business, going back to school, paying off debts, shoring themselves up in order to be better, you know, making their credit better. I think that's what most Black people would do. Now,
no, I don't believe that, Volcy.
I got you, Kate. Give me a second, Kate.
Go ahead.
But when it comes to your concern, right, I do get that concern. Someone getting like a family of three getting $125,000, and the mom and dad goes to vacation in Greece instead of, you know, paying off their debts. I get that part. That's concerning. So I would pair it with what you just said. Financial literacy courses, like, yeah, you get the reparations, but hey, listen, here's this course, here's something, or not a course, but someone who speaks to you about it, like a trust, you know what I'm saying, hey, okay, here's $125,000. These are some of the options that you can use to spend it, right? We're gonna give you the money, but look at all your options. Look at the business that you can start. Look at your credit. Yeah, I mean, look at all these debts that you have. Yeah, I mean, okay, look at all these. There's a cruise to Belize going on in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's true, but you have $20,000 in debt. Maybe you want to pay that down. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like like you have to go to the banks, look at all the money and stuff, everything like that. Like financial literacy, just like how you said. I think that should be a program as well. I'm not denying that, right? Because just like how you said, like a lot of niggas got PPP and spent that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I definitely get it. It's gone.
It's gone, just like that.
It's gone.
But then, you know, another thing I'm thinking about as well.
Give me 1 second, George, because someone on my TikTok actually had a comment. I think she agrees with your concern. Give me 1 second, all right? What you were saying, Kate?
No, I do agree with him, and I agree with you too. And I was playing it out in my head because I didn't want to feel like there was too much parenting going on with the reparations being given out. Because if I'm not mistaken, from what I read about other reparations that were given out, there really was no stipulations on how the money was spent. I think that it would be great to have like a tier level. Kind of like a lottery renting, you know, you could have the cash option, you can have the payment over a certain amount of time. I think that you can have the cash option if you wish, which we will give you this, you go do as you wish, there's nothing. But I think that there's a larger amount that you could receive over a certain amount of time. If you took literacy classes, if you decided to open up a nonprofit, if you decide to open up a LLC or a corporation, then it will open the door for an additional 20,000 or whatever over 3 to 5 years if you chose to do that. And then level 3 would be you went for the 10-year option that will put a certain amount back every single year for your life insurance, your children's life insurance, and put a certain amount aside for all of you all's life insurance pretty much. And then literacy classes, so on and so forth. You can't tell a fool that you're helping them. A fool would never believe that. But for people who are trying to better themselves with education-wise, you know, children that are 18, you know, at tier level 2, you know, 50% of their schooling will be paid for up to a master's degree, something like that. I think there should be incentives for the longevity wait for the amount of money.
So George, Kate brought up a good point, and I think it addresses your concern probably better than I do. It's basically a tier level. Yeah, I mean, we give you some, but like in order for you to get more, yeah, I mean, to get the full payout, you have to do certain things like invest back into the community through a business or going back to school or stuff like that. Then you get the rest. Yeah, I mean, so that way That way, you know, just like how she said,
I like that.
You never tell a fool that you're helping them out because the fool's gonna take advantage of you, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that would be a lot better. I think that works better than my solution, to tell you the truth. So yeah, Kate, I agree with you. That works better than my solution.
I think Kate hitting on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was better than my solution. But you're gonna say one last thing. What was that?
Yeah, my last thing I was gonna say also, you talked about the parents and the 3 kids. But should the parents have the responsibility over the children's money? Because I know some parents. Well, I know some children that's parents. So that won't be responsible.
I know exactly what you said, bro. I understand exactly what you mean by that. Now, here's what I was saying. Right?
You don't want to mess up your parent. You know, the parents messing up the kids' money in the future. They just take all the money and blow it and don't give the children the opportunity to invest it or have their opportunity.
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're getting at. Now what I said before is that like it should go to like families, right? You know, because a 5-year-old, no one is going to give a 5-year-old $125,000 because they don't know what they're going to do with it. It's probably going to be held in trust. Should the parents have control over that child's money? I would say that it should just go to the family, get the family that money, right? Like
each family, not individual.
Not each individual, right? Each family. Yeah, I mean, now of course, what you were saying before, there are some 16 and 17-year-olds who are a lot more responsible than their mom and dad. I do get that part. So now people who are 16, 17, they already start working, right? Which means they have to file taxes, which guess what? Makes them a household. But can we trust 16-year-olds with $125,000? You know what I'm saying? So at that point, that's why I agree with you. It has to work. That's why I agree with Kate, what Kate said. It has to be a tier.
Or put it in a trust.
Or put it in a trust. Exactly. Put it in a trust. Exactly. That's what I would say.
Give them a small amount of money. Like if they 5, give them a small amount of money. They don't need $100,000. Give them $25,000. But that trust will grow by the time they turn, you know, whatever, it kind of come up to, you know, 150 or 125 or something like that.
Exactly.
Instead of giving that parent that money, because that parent will, you know, I mean, every parent is different, but you know, it's a good chance that the parent can blow the child's money.
Right, exactly. So that makes a lot more sense, right?
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think that would be a beautiful thing. You think it'll ever happen?
Not in my lifetime. I hope it happens in my grandkids' lifetime, but it's probably not gonna happen in mine, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, I think they made a song about it, but I don't know if I could say it because since you're on YouTube, I don't know. But,
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
We might have to keep on waiting. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but change gonna come.
Yeah,
I do believe it will, but I don't think it'll happen in my lifetime. I do hope it happens in my grandkids' lifetime, but it probably won't happen in mine.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, man, I appreciate what you're doing, man, and keep up the good work, my friend.
Not a problem. Hey, appreciate you, George. Have a good night. All right.
All right, you do the same.
All right. So y'all, so Kate and Caddy had to go. Hey, Kate, Caddy, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all y'all being here. I'm gonna end off the live pretty soon because I'm at 2 hours now. Sean, hey, I always appreciate you being here, man. And I can learn a lot about evolution from you because I'm not an expert and I'm pretty sure you know way more. So I'm always appreciate you being
I'm not
here.
an expert either, but I know a lot for a layperson about evolution, cosmology, but nowhere near expert level or to the level of someone who's credentialed.
Yeah.
But
I wanna talk to Dr. Blitz one day because I know he's phenomenal, especially when it comes to astrophysics. So there's some astrophysical things that I really can't explain because they love to hit on the fine tuning stuff, and I know that's wrong what they're saying, but he could explain it better than I can. You know?
Oh yeah, 100%. I wanted to. I don't know if you know the history of this, so now I need to read up on it. I've heard from a few places that the reason we don't have universal health care in this country is because of racism. And that's showing that it's affecting all of us.
Yeah, it is.
Not just not just
sorry, Sean.
African Americans. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sean. One second. All right, y'all. Phone lines is closed for now. Sean is gonna be my last guy, and then we're gonna go ahead and close out the live. But yeah, Sean, what you're saying was correct. It is because of racism. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Yeah, no, and that's pretty enraging to me. Talk about biting your nose to spite your face. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's screwed. That has screwed over all of us. And right now, the healthcare industry, all the big money and the lobbyists in there have made it to where instituting like Medicare for all or anything of that nature is a near impossibility. But I'll still fight for it. And the thing is it makes me mad, even though because I'm in the military, I got full health coverage and I'm retiring, so I'm going to have pretty good coverage for the rest of my life. So even though it doesn't necessarily affect me directly, it's like pretty enraging that you could, your child can get cancer and then you go to the hospital and then next thing you know, you're just inundated with bills after bills and it can bankrupt people or they can't get treated. It's disgusting. Like healthcare is a basic service like education, policing, national defense. It's a basic service that should be provided to everybody.
It should.
And no one should have to worry about having to pay a copay or crazy premiums, any of that. That's just and the thing is like everyone else can do it and we could spend billions and trillions on wars or other things. Like we can do it. We can absolutely do it. And it would actually save us money in the long run.
That's the thing. Like even the Cato Institute admitted that this would save us money in the long run. Like the Cato Institute is the most libertarian institute out of all of them. Like I was talking to a libertarian from Alaska, right? And not a Trump supporter at all. Like, and you'll be surprised, but like he's a libertarian from Alaska, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, "Yo, at the end of the day, man, we might as well just do universal health care." I was talking to him about that, and he was like, "Man, at this point, let's just do it because the corporations have shown that they abuse people, and a lot of libertarians are not for abuse of corporations either. So it's like they're not for that either. So it's like, man, the corporations have shown that they failed at it. So might as well do single payer at this point." And I was like, wow, I mean, a libertarian actually agrees with single payer. I mean, you never thought you would see it, but yeah, someone would agree with it. I mean, we might as well do it at this point because it's like, your health being the fact that, life-saving surgery or life-saving medication, such as insulin and EpiPens, they could be on the line because the corporation needs to make more money. It's insane to me. That just sounds insane. Like, I don't know how that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. And our laws are on the books have the same medication costing multiples in the US of what it costs like in like Canada and or European countries or, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I'll let you get going and doing what you got to do. It was great talking to you. If it was only brief, but we'll do it again sometime.
Definitely, Sean. Come back anytime. I appreciate you. I think I might do a panel this weekend. If I do a panel, definitely come by. I think I'm going live Saturday. If you're not doing anything, maybe around 2 or 3 p.m. If you're not doing anything around.
Sure. I'll swing by.
All right, cool. Because I think I'll do a panel, so you could definitely come on by.
All right, appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you.
See you.
All right, guys. So yeah, I think Saturday I'm gonna do a panel that time. So we'll have 8 people. We'll see if we run this conversation. We may run another one. I may do a religious conversation. We may run that, and it'll be a panel. So I definitely like to balance out my panels. You know what I mean? I definitely say don't jump everybody. You know what I mean? If we do get a Christian up, just some guy. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. So yeah, Saturday I think we'll run a panel, and we'll have that conversation. Soon, y'all. I think probably starting in March or April. Well, we're in March already, but starting probably in April or May, what I'm gonna do is lives on positive masculinity. I want the guys in the chat. If you're watching me right now, I want y'all to be there. Because Right now, the red pill is dying out. People have been noticing that the red pill is a scam. They've been bullshitting people all this time. So we need to create a new pipeline to create healthier young men. You know what I mean? So starting in I think in April, I'm gonna start that in April next month. I'm gonna start doing lives on positive masculinity. Masculinity that's not based on dominance, masculinity that's not based on making women unequal or submissive towards you. You know what I mean? Understanding that masculinity is more than building up currency and not expressing your emotions and not being vulnerable. Vulnerability can be a strength. You know what I mean? That can be a strength. Affection is a strength. Being secure in yourself doesn't mean that you are so concerned about your looks, so concerned about your aesthetics. Being secure in yourself is being secure in the person that you are. You know, I mean, being secure and being a good person, being secure and knowing that someone who's LGBTQ doesn't threaten you as a man. Responsibility. Being if you're going to be a spiritual leader, how to be that spiritual leader. You don't need to suffer in silence because our boys are crying. You understand? The boys around the world are crying, and they need to understand boyhood outside of violence. They need to understand boyhood outside of only express the only emotion that they can express is anger. You know what I mean? We need to bring black boy joy to the forefront. We need to bring joy to the forefront. You see what I'm saying? These are things that we need to talk to young men about. Self-improvement is important. You know what I mean? Exercising, going to the gym, there's nothing wrong with fitness. There's nothing wrong with self-improvement. But your self-improvement shouldn't come at the cost of women and children being afraid to be around you. It shouldn't come at that cost. So starting in April, I'm going to start positive masculinity. Those are the lives that I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. As I always sign off, every man should be soft, be secure, be affectionate, be wise, be flexible, be thoughtful. Every man should be soft. All right.